Hi, it's the 28th of August 2018 at 2:15 p.m. Ever since Alex Jones got deplatformed, I've been sort of monitoring my viewing behaviour, what I've been doing on YouTube. I don't know why, I guess I saw Alex's demise as a significant thing. A lot of people talking about it. It was sort of a shock. He often spoke that they were out to get him and get him off, social media. I didn't think it would ever happen though, and I was wrong. It did. They've cleaned him up, and he's gone. He's persona non grata, as it is. I didn't download the app. I don't follow him anymore. I don't. He's just gone. For me, it was like the Saturday afternoon wrestling. It was interesting, and I'm sure he had a lot of points and what have you. But that's how I saw Alex. Unfortunately, he was like the Saturday afternoon wrestling. So it'd be like them. Canning the Saturday afternoon wrestling. Okay, fair enough. It was something I watched occasionally and didn't have a great following for it or anything else like that. But I was curious as to how I would react. Because lately I've been into this sort of passive or monitoring my my behaviour. Like stepping outside myself and looking at myself. Just sort of taking note of what I do. It's I don't know why I do it, but I can't really observe too many other people. I can only observe myself. So I have a few things have come to mind. A few things I've noticed. One is I don't watch the doom and gloom vids quite as much as I used to, and that's possibly because, well, what I have replaced it with are homeless movies. People, these invisible people, what are they called? Just a thing I've done over the last couple of weeks. I've found myself watching all of these stories about homeless people. I don't know why. I mean, they've been there for ages. I've just never clicked on them, so I'll watch one of them. But I just started watching them, and I started thinking about it. And I thought, well, really, why? All these doom and gloom people talking about the coming crash and what have you. And I guess they're looking at the metrics of our economy, like the stock market in particular, and the value of currencies and that sort of thing. But if you take your mind off that, don't focus on that, but you actually look at people, what people are doing, you have to say it's got all the hallmarks of a crash. In the Great Depression after 1929, people went to live in shanty towns and tent cities and what have you. And if you look at what the homeless people are doing, it's much the same sort of thing. I mean, admittedly, we've had homeless people for a long time. But more, I'm looking at it, and these people aren't all down and outers. Often they're younger people. Yeah, admittedly, a lot of them have, they either smoke or they've got some sort of drug addiction or alcohol addiction. That could be a contributing factor to it as well. But that was there 10 years ago, if you get my drift. Yet the numbers have swelled and grown, and it's become more and more and more of it. So I looked at it and thought, why are we talking about the crash that's coming? Why don't we just accept the fact we're in a depression now? Forget whether we're in a depression. Let's put it this way, we're doing much the same sort of thing as we were doing in the 1930s, so what's the difference? That's the way I looked at it. But it wasn't only my viewing behaviour that changed. My whole attitude toward working and how I'm organising everything's changed. Look, admittedly, for the last few years, I've the first 3 years after separation, it's very difficult to get used to the idea after 30 years of marriage. Suddenly you're alone, cut adrift, and you don't get to see your family at all. That's actually rather difficult to deal with. All right, so that knocked me around for the first 3 years. I kept working through it, but I was also drinking. I was also trying to, have a social life as well, and that sort of have a social life, but be a hermit. Yeah, so that sort of took the first 3 years, particularly. Just getting out of that. But I found that in the last month, I've actually become more focused than I've ever been. And I buy new screens, new coffee machine. I've just bought new videos editing software, which is proving a bit problematic, but it's okay, we'll get there. We'll just keep going, and I'm going to buy a new camera. Oh, the webcam's not too bad, particularly when you get, you use the video editing software correctly and use the right output. It doesn't do a bad job, but I think a camera, a better camera would be an improvement. And I've got other business ideas I want to use and try out. And there's something about, I don't know, there's just something about Alex Jones. I don't know what it is or why it happened, but I saw Alex as, I mean, let's face it, he was just a guy who started from home, and it was just him with probably a camera and that sort of thing. And he graduated. Look at the studio he built up. He built himself into, apparently his net worth of about $10 million or something like that. Yeah, okay, he's been deplatformed and what have you, but he's gone from essentially from nothing with no background, there's no capital injection or anything like that. He just, whatever, just call him what you want, but he picked himself up from his own bootstraps. And I don't know, I just thought, I looked at it and I thought, that's anything, his demise was a line in the sand to me. That was sort of the point where we left the old world behind and we moved into the new paradigm. And I say that because he was a very loud commentator from what was happening in the old world. It's like, I don't know, you've moved to America back in 1500 and they're talking about how bad it is in England. You got this guy there saying, this is what's happening in England. Oh, this is happening in Europe or wherever it is you come from. Oh, how bad it is. And then suddenly somebody shoots that guy. And suddenly you don't hear about what's happening in England anymore or what's happening in France or Germany or wherever it is you've emigrated from. No, all you've got is what's happening here on the ground. And that's kind of what happened to me. It was like, I'm just no longer, to silence bursts like that. It's tyrannical. It's win at all costs or something. And I've just lost total interest in that whole world. I've just totally it's like they've shot the guy on the soapbox that's talking about the old world. And it was the only thing that could have been the only thing that was keeping me interested in it. So I've become more engrossed in what's happening in my new world. Yep, admittedly I've looked at a lot of homeless movies, but that's not all. I'm spending a lot more time looking at videos about what camera to use, how to set up your lighting, how to use your software correctly, how to do this, how to do that. And I'll be looking into, okay, what do you do now with the business? What do you do next? How do you get to people? What do you do this? Blah, 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 blah. This idea, that idea, that idea. I mean, it's a really wonderful world. And so maybe what's happened, maybe shooting Alex Jones is a good thing for me personally. I think it's wrong. I've got he's, was trying to stand there. But really he was broadcasting the old world. This is what's happening in the old world. This is what's happening. This is what's wrong with the old world. And maybe that's what's happened. Maybe I don't want to hear about that anymore. Gone. Dead. Finished. That's the old world. This is the new world in here. And look, I keep saying it over and over. Socially, it's better. I can come onto the channel. I usually get a whole bunch of really just good chat. Just, guys saying hi, making a comment, chat. I chat all day, week in, week out. That's good, man, because I don't get upset, I don't get angry, I've got to stay focused. I don't need anybody giving me the shits. I don't get it here. It's just, blah, 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 about this or about that, about something else. I have a chat, I'll make a cup of coffee, I'll hear it come in and go, oh yeah, that's Annie, or that's Discover Yourself, or that's J Lord, or whatever. And it's just blah 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 blah. As I'm having my coffee, and I think, okay, what am I going to do with this software? It's just like I'm at work, just chatting to the guy next to me. Do we really need to have a fight, or to him to put me down as you'll never do any well in this company? And we're not in the same company. We're just sitting in disparate businesses, but just sitting next to one another. Everybody's doing their own thing, chatting somewhere else. Some of you are working, some of you aren't. Yeah, so that's what it's like. It's good. It's like working for a good company. It doesn't really matter what the company is trying to do. It's you've got people sitting next to you that don't give you the shits. I guess is the best thing about it. Yeah, so I don't know. Look, maybe, after 3 weeks, maybe it's a good thing they shot Alex. It's helped me to some extent. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's right. I think it's largely, hugely wrong. But for me, that's the difference. That's actually what's happened. So maybe that's it. Maybe what I'm looking at is right. Bugger it. That's the old world now is dead. The guy with the megaphone's gone. They've shot him. Yep, I'm not hearing all about the negative. Oh well, forget it. Die as far as I'm concerned. I've got this new world to live in. And look, it's not bad. I've as I think I was saying to Jay Lord the other day, it's what you get used to. It doesn't sound right. There's no doubt about that. Living as a hermit, it's not right. I don't care what anybody says. Living without women is really not right. Men and women are designed together, to go together. But if the situation, is changed around that sort of thing, well, you just get used to what you have. Life is what you make it, so they say. So, what I'm doing is taking a bit of this and a bit of that and reorganising my mind to some extent so that, it's not a bad outcome. It's just another, thing of a man going his own way. Anyway, good talking to you. Hopefully it will work this time and I'll get it up. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.